Hi guys, it's Mishel, Deception Bytes, and as I promised, I am bringing you the Q post for today being Sunday, September 16th, and right now it is 9:37 p.m. Eastern Time. So let's get to it. I want to get through the Q post for today. I did just check to make sure that we do have the latest and greatest of the Q posts, and we do. So I'm going to bring you up to date. Now, that doesn't mean that Q's not going to go out and post, because again, it's only 9:38 p.m. so Q has plenty of time left to post. And if he does that, then I will bring those to you tomorrow, but I will bring you up to date as of this minute right now. I also want to get to a Q related news, so we'll see how I do after this, and if at all possible, I'm going to upload another Q related news because there is a lot of it. I probably have enough for 2 or 3 Q related news videos, but don't want to go overboard. Now, I had to stop this. I started recording it a few minutes ago, and when I got to this link right here and I went out, I noticed a name that literally sent shivers up my spine. So I had to redo it because the shock, I think you would have been able to feel the shock in me when I read this name. Because I'll tell you, I'm a writer. I've got a master's in English, and I am a writer. I do have a book published, and I am working on a second book. And in researching my second book, this particular name has come up often and not in a good way. So I was a little bit shaken when I saw the name. But let me go ahead with the post. I will let you know when we get there what the deal is. All right. Now, the very first post from September 16th is a link to a YouTube video of General Flynn accepting an award. And the link, we're going to go out and look at it, although I already have it pulled up because I was recording and had to stop. So this is it. This is the video, and it says General Flynn accepts award for service to America. That's all well and good. And it's at the Phyllis Shackley Eagles. And am familiar with that name, Phyllis Shackley, but not familiar with the Eagles part. I'm not sure what that organization is, but I am going to be looking it up. You can bet that. Anyway, I came down here, and sorry that there's a train going by. If you are hearing that in the background, I do apologize to you. The trains are very loud, even though I'm not really close to the tracks. The train is very, very loud. So, when I read this down here, it said Lieutenant General Michael Flynn's acceptance speech when Ed Martin presented him the Eagle Council's Major General John K. Jack Singlob Award for service to America. Now, when I read the word, or read the name John K. Jack Singlob, I think all the blood ran out of my face. Now, I don't know how much you know about this man, and it really doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into it now because it would take a long time. But should really look up who this person really is. Not a good thing. Now, okay, that doesn't have anything to do with, General Flynn. And I'm not suggesting that it does. I don't see a connection there at all. But now that I've seen that this is the award that he accepted, I am going to be looking into it because I happen to know a lot about some certain things that I'm not going to go into now because I'd like to stay alive. All right. So let's just start this here. It's 12 minutes and 51 seconds. I'm not going to play all of it because it gets to be, me playing a YouTube video secondhand, making a YouTube video of playing a YouTube video seems a little bit self-defeating. So it is something that can be easily found on YouTube under General Flynn accepts award for service to America, but I will play the first part of it.
And pretty humbling. It's an interesting thing about my mother. Helen Flynn, who's she's deceased now, but she was just a terrific person. And how me standing up here today is really such a small world, because her and Phyllis's life intersected in the 70s. And I remember going down to Washington, D.C. early in the 70s there for the Right to Life marches that my mother would stick us on a bus and we'd all drive down. Or she made me drive floats in parades, Right to Life floats in parades. I took a lot of beer bottles, I'll tell you, that were thrown at me. But it's interesting how people intersect in life. And then here I stand here tonight, and it's really it's a pretty awesome experience. The entire Schlafly family that's here, it's so gratifying to see that the fact that you brought your children with you. And I think that that's such a neat thing. And I think that our country is so much better because of your mom and what the impact. I mean, she's really iconic when it comes down to the kinds of things that she got herself involved in. And I think for certain types of people like Jack Singlaub, I'm going to make some comments here in a little bit about, and just talking about some things that we believe in. You don't, even when a person is gone, their legacy continues to live on, and their real impact, you really don't know what that impact will be. You don't know what it is yet. We don't know what it is yet. And some of it is sitting in this room tonight. And like Ed and I were talking earlier today when we went over to visit the Schlafly Center, who's the next Phyllis Schlafly? Where is that person? And Ed's comment back to me was, maybe there's 12 of them out, maybe there's a dozen of them out there somewhere, but who's the next one? And there has to be more Phyllis Schlafly type people to continue to carry this gigantic message that we have for our country. So I think for the family that's here tonight, thank you so much. Thank you for continuing to move this message forward and to move this whole dynamic that your mom left for us to carry on. And for Ed, I really appreciate your interaction with us, my family, and we appreciate it. I also want to recognize the two daughters that were just up here of Jack, and I spoke with Jack and Joan a day or two ago. And I think for Deborah and Jody, I don't know where you're sitting at. Where are you sitting? Yeah, I'm sorry, right here. I think for the two of you guys know what I'm talking about when you're talking about your father and you're listening to Ed describe him and all these escapades and all these kinds of things they get involved in. But if there's two people, and I had called your dad back, I think it was July 11th, which was his birthday, and I called him up and I wished him a happy birthday. And this past couple...
something, I'm going to stop this. And I'll tell you why. Because, first of all, okay, he's accepting an award for service to America. Wonderful. When he's talking about Jack, he's talking about Singlaub. Now, I don't even know, because I hesitate to get into this, but I'll tell you that if Flynn knows what Singlaub has been involved in and agrees with that, then I am categorically, diametrically opposed to General Flynn. I'm just saying that right now, and I am not suggesting that he does. But if Q knows what Singlaub has been involved in and is in agreement with that, then I will tell you right now, I will not be following Q. I may continue to do the videos. I may continue to decode and say what Q is saying, but I cannot, under any circumstances, as a Christian, accept what Singlaub has been involved in. That's all I'm going to get. That's all I'm going to get into right now. If you are interested in it, I would say that you should start, perhaps, if you really want to know the real scoop, start perhaps with researching the Phoenix program, and then look at I guess they were teams of assassins in the Iran-Contra in Central America. Now, I've done missionary work in Central America, and I know what I'm talking about. I was there when the war was on. So let's just, I'm just going to stop there because, that's not why you're listening. You're not listening you're listening because you are interested in Q. But I'm just saying this is a problem for me. And I've always tried to be very honest with you all and tell you what I think about certain things. And the fact that this man is praising Singlab is more than upsetting to me. So let's go on. All right. Now, here is the next, and just let me for a second here say I'm not against Q. I'm not coming out against Q. I don't know that Q agrees or even knows much about Singlab. I don't know. I think Q was pointing out that Flynn was receiving an award for American service. And there is nothing wrong with receiving an award for American service. So I am not in any way directing this towards Flynn or Q because I am not certain that they know any of this. So there you go. Now I'm going to go on now, and if you guys have questions or whatever, you can ask it in the comments below. I will try to be open and forthright as I can while still, being wise. All right. Okay, here is the next one, and it is a link to Fox News Politics, and it is regarding Lisa Page testimony. And then it says underneath, no evidence of collusion prior to Mueller appointment. Now, of course, we see the characteristic question mark here, but we know that how Q communicates now. We are very, very aware of it, and his question marks usually should be replaced with periods because it is a statement. There was no evidence of collusion prior to the Mueller appointment. Now let's go out and see what Q is wanting us to see here. Okay, Lisa Page testimony. Collusion still unproven by time of Mueller's special counsel appointment. Lisa Page more forthcoming than Strzok on anti-Trump texts. Now I'm just waiting for this to, and let's listen to this.
All right, yesterday, with all this news, no one was focusing on this. Former FBI attorney Lisa Page back on Capitol Hill yesterday afternoon for her second day of testimony, started on Friday, regarding the anti-Trump text messages she was involved in with FBI agent Peter Strzok. House Judiciary Committee member Louis Gohmert was in the room for Page's closed-door hearing. Joins us now with a look inside. You can't give out information that would jeopardize the investigation, but everyone keeps saying that she was a lot more compliant, open, and candid. Would you say the same thing?
Yeah, I would. She was much more forthcoming than Peter Strzok. Some people got upset when I called him out for being the scheming serial liar he is. But let me say this, and it goes with what the president's getting mocked for in Russia. I brought this out, and the mainstream media will not touch it. To me, Fox is the mainstream media, but that is, we know, there is no question, the intelligence community inspector general sent Chuck McCulloch, sent his investigator, Frank Rucker, who told Dean Chappelle and Peter Strzok that despite what some of the media was saying, a major foreign power had gotten every one of over 30,000 Hillary Clinton emails through her own server, everything that came and went except for 4, And Peter Strzok did nothing about it. And apparently he didn't tell Lisa what he had learned from the Intel Community IG, but they sat on that. And the president knows that this foreign entity, not Russia, had everything. You talk about playing in the election.
Right.
It wasn't just Russia. There were other major players. And Strzok did nothing. Lisa apparently didn't know. But
so you're saying another country involved, Congressman. I want to get to Lisa Page.
Yeah.
She's a Democrat. She doesn't like Trump, but she was different. In what way was she different and more forthcoming? What can you tell us you learned?
Well, she's a more contrite person. And but make no mistake, just like you said, Brian, she's a Democrat. She wanted Hillary to win, and she did not want Trump to win, and that's been obvious. There were times the FBI lawyers would be reaching for the button to mute her comment, and she would answer before that they could mute her comment.
Is she contradicting Peter Strzok in any way?
Not so much, but she has given us more insights to who was involved in what. Of course, when I hear Brennan or Clapper either say the kind of things they've been saying recently, then it tells me, wow, we must be getting close to them. Those guilty dogs are barking pretty loud. But I think she'll be a good witness. I don't know that we're going to have a public hearing with her. But the important thing is to continue to gather the evidence. Bob Goodlatte, when we were meeting privately yesterday after the questioning, he's not done. We're going to keep digging till we get to the bottom of this. And it is outrageous.
5-second answer. Are there other supervisors involved besides Peter Strzok?
Yes.
All right. Congressman Gohmert,
yes,
can't wait to find out what those names are. They need to be exposed.
And yes, they do. They do need to be exposed. But to me, when you look at Peter Strzok, and particularly during the testimony, you could see that. I hate to say this because it sounds very trite, but he looked evil. Some of his expressions, there was something in his eyes that it looked like maybe there was someone else on board there, if you know what I mean. And to me, he looked like he was very full of himself, and Lisa Page does not strike me that way. Now, I don't know. She's obviously guilty of what she has been accused of, but she does seem to be cooperating a whole lot better than Peter Strzok. And as they said, she seems a bit contrite about this. At least she has expressed some feelings of remorse, which is more than we can say for Strzok. So I think that's interesting, but I think the interesting part here is that the collusion was still unproven by the time of Mueller's special counsel appointment, and that is the fact that Q wants us to know. So it's interesting. And it gets more and more interesting as we go along. So here Q is telling us no evidence of collusion prior to Mueller appointment. Now we're going to go to the next link that Q has provided us. And this is the Daily Caller, and of course, House Intel Committee to release transcripts of Trump-Russia witness interviews. Now, that should be highly entertaining indeed. House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence Chairman Devin Noon said Sunday that he plans to release transcripts of interviews with around 70 witnesses in the Trump-Russia probe within the next few weeks. Fire in the hole. Yeah. I think these next few weeks are going to be, well, I hate to keep using the word interesting because it's an understatement. It is a huge understatement. I don't know what else to say about it, but I know that I will be glued to them, and I am sure you will be as well. We believe that the depositions that we took, I think for nearly about 70 people, those need to be published. And they need to be published, I think, before the election, Nunes said in an interview on Fox News Sunday Morning Futures. By published, I mean put out for the American people to review so that they can see the work that we did and they can see all of the people that were interviewed by us and there are answers to those questions. I think full transparency is in order here, so I expect to make those available from our committee to the American public here in the next few weeks. Continued Nunes. South Carolina Rep. Trey Gowdy, a member of the intelligence panel, told The Hill Wednesday that the committee should release transcripts of interviews conducted during the investigation. The committee conducted 73 witnesses as part of its investigation, which began its investigation in January 2017. Members of the Trump campaign, FBI officials, and various intelligence community officials from the Obama administration were all interviewed as part of the probe. Republicans on the committee released a 253-page report on April 27th, which found no evidence of collusion between the campaign and Kremlin. Nunes said that between 70 and 80% of the transcripts do not contain classified information. The remaining transcripts would have to be reviewed by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Nunes said that review process would only take a matter of days. Nunes and other House Republicans have also led a push to get President Donald Trump to declassify and release documents related to the FBI and Justice Department's collusion investigation. Trump is expected to release portions of an FBI application for a spy warrant against former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. So, there we go. I think it's going to be a very interesting September and October and November. Yes, I do. All right. Let's go back. So, underneath that, Q has said House of Cards. And of course, we all know what a House of Cards is because sooner or later, a House of Cards comes tumbling down. So let's go to the next link and take a look there. Revealed. 3 Democrats attended. Hang on here. Is it time to retire? Sorry, it just popped up there. All right. Revealed. 3 Democrats attended private dinner with Iran's president and Louis Farrakhan. What? What? 3 Democrats attended private dinner with Iran's president and Louis Farrakhan. What's that about? Well, let's see. 3 Democratic congressmen attended a private dinner hosted by Iranian President Hassan Rouhani in 2013, a new report reveals. Representatives Keith Ellison of Minnesota, Andre Carson of Indiana, and Gregory Meeks of New York attended the private dinner along with Louis Farrakhan, a notorious anti-Semite who leads the black supremacist group Nation of Islam. Well, I would say that you, Andre Carson, Gregory Meeks, and who else? Keith Ellison are in a bit of hot water. And I hope it gets hotter. Iran is the #1 state sponsor of terrorism, according to the United States government, which has listed the Islamic Republic as a state sponsor of terror since 1984. Rouhani was in New York for a United Nations meeting and held the dinner party just hours after speaking to the UN General Assembly. Final Call, a Nation of Islam publication, noted the 3 Democrats' attendance at the time and included photos of Ellison and Meeks at the dinner party. Well, isn't that special? But aside from the Final Call article, the 3 Democrats' presence at the dinner remained a secret until a Wall Street Journal column revealed it on Friday. None of the 3 congressmen's office responded to the Daily Caller's request for comment for this article. Well, isn't that a surprise that they wouldn't respond to requests to comment? That's very curious indeed, I would think. Don't you think? Ellison, Meeks, and Carson's attendance at the 2013 dinner is just the latest tie between Democratic members of the Congressional Black Caucus, CBC, and Farrakhan. One CBC member, Illinois Representative Danny Davis, defended Farrakhan and praised him as an outstanding human being in an interview with the DC last week. Davis openly admitted to having a personal relationship with Farrakhan in the interview. Ellison, who is also vice chair of the Democratic National Committee, DNC, has previously struggled to put distance between himself and Farrakhan. Ellison attended Farrakhan's Million Man March in 1995 and once publicly defended Farrakhan, who has repeatedly called Jews satanic, against charges of anti-Semitism. After his ties to Farrakhan hindered his campaign for DNC chair last year, Ellison wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post in which he portrayed his ties to Farrakhan as limited to the 1995 march. Farrakhan disputed that characterization in a video posted to Facebook and said that Ellison and Carson visited him in 2015. The CBC held a secret meeting with Farrakhan in 2005, where then Illinois Senator Barack Obama, there's a familiar name, took a smiling picture with the hate group leader. The existence of both the meeting and Obama photo with Farrakhan remained secret until last month. A final call photographer said he suppressed the photo for 13 years at the CBC's request in order to protect Obama's political career. Well, isn't that special? Oh, isn't that sweet? They look like brothers, don't they? Yes, they just look like they're very cozy and friendly. Alrighty. And of course, that was the photo that never saw the light of day. Obama with Farrakhan in 2005. We just learn more and more and more about our least favorite president, don't we? 21 current members of the CBC were part of the caucus at the time of the 2005 meeting. None of them were willing to denounce Farrakhan when asked by the DC. Farrakhan's organization, the Nation of Islam, is so extreme that even the left-wing Southern Poverty Law Center has recognized it as a hate group for its theology of innate black superiority over whites and the deeply racist, anti-Semitic, and anti-gay rhetoric of its leaders. And there you have it. There you have it. Interesting. Indeed. Now let's go back and see what Q has to say. Well, he's asking a perfectly reasonable question. Why would 3 Democratic congressmen attend a private dinner with Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, #1 state sponsor of terrorism in 2013? Well, I don't know, Q. Why would they? Why would they? Seriously. And, of course, he goes on to tell us who they were. Of course, we already knew that from the article, but it was Representative Keith Ellison, Minnesota, Representative Andre Carson, Indiana, and Representative Gary Meeks from New York. Well, Ellison, Carson, and Meeks, what do you have to say for yourselves? Obviously not much, because you refuse to comment. Well, let's see how long you're able to hold out. And because I'm thinking that your constituents might want to know why. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm thinking that they're not going to be happy about that. And of course, Louis Farrakhan. Now, we've got a link to here to go out to that Q has provided us with, but he has also provided us with the part that he wants us to read, but I will go out and show you the link anyway, so you will see it and know where it's coming from. And it is the oath of officers. It's the oath of, I can't even speak, my gosh. What would happen if I drank? I don't know. The oath of office, not the oath of office. That would have been Obama. I think he was the oath of the office personally, but hey, this is the oath of the office, not ever to be confused with the oath of office. All right, so that is what we're looking at here. And we're not going to read all through this because I think that you, as Americans, are familiar with the oath of office. And let's go back and see what Q is wanting us to take from this. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Define traitor. This should actually be on its own line here. When I copied it, I must have made a mistake. So let me just fix this. Alrighty. So that is the oath of office, not in its entirety, but and it says, so help me God. And then underneath, Q says, define traitor. And he defines it for us. 1, a person who betrays another, a cause, or any trust. 2, a person who commits treason by betraying his or her country. Synonym equals renegade. I am not sure what I was up when I copied this. Excuse me, because I didn't, I didn't separate the lines as Q had them separated. And it does make a difference because he's telling us the definition of traitor, and then he's saying that a synonym, of course, is a word that means exactly the same thing. A word that you could replace with the word traitor would be a synonym. And he's telling us a synonym for the word traitor is renegade. And what was the U.S. Secret Service code name for Hussein? Well, I think most of us by now know it was renegade. And he signs it Q. I've got a tickle in my throat, and I do apologize. Excuse me. Now let's go up to the next. Now, okay, yes. Now, Q is referring to this that we just looked at. It's the same post that he is referring to. And down below, here he is referring up to this post that we just looked at. And he adds to it. And he adds from Donald Trump's Twitter the following. Oh, please, excuse me. I'm not sure where that tickle is coming from. Okay. And he says timestamp and content, 12:24 and 12:25. Now, this is the, I just clipped it out there to save us a bit of time, but this is the tweet that they are referring to. And President Trump says, just watched Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo. Futures with Maria Bartiromo on Fox News. This show is mandatory watching if you want to understand the massive governmental corruption and the Russian hoax. It will be rebroadcast this evening at 6 p.m. on Fox Business. A must-see. Now, I do not have this taped or anything. It may be out on Twitter. I did look earlier and I couldn't find it, but and I wasn't able to catch this. maybe some of you did. I hope you were able to, because Q is telling us timestamp and content. He's telling us where to look, and that's at 12:24 and 12:25. Now, I'm hoping that at some point somebody will have a link to that program. Maybe some of you do. If you do, please leave the link in the comments below. Now, when you do leave a link, it goes over into not into there's kind of like this big slush pile of stuff that if Twitter thinks it might be something that I need to take a look at, it just kind of dumps it over there, but it gets too big at times for me to look at. But what I do when I upload a new video, I just look at the comments for that video, and I do check that sort of slush pile that it goes into, because some people leave very, very good links that we need to see, and so I release those. So what will happen if you leave a comment, you won't see it right away, but I will eventually see it and release it so that we can all look at it. Okay, so just telling you that, because some people get mad at me, like, why did you erase my comment? And I'll be like, what? Because I really, it's extremely rare for me to erase anybody's comments. It's very rare. It has to be highly, highly offensive, or a ton of swear words or something like that, because that's not me. I don't believe in censoring like that. All right. So then Q is giving us a second link, and he's asking us, Nunes awake? Now, of course, we know Q, he's not asking us if Nunes is awake. He's telling us, Nunes awake. He's awake. And then he says, happy Sunday, Q. So let's see what Nunes has to say. And let me see here, where is the link to that? Well, dang it. Thought I had the link to that, and where is it? I don't know. Oh, okay, it's what we've already looked at here, so we don't need to go out and look at it again, but we've already looked at this. This was the one that we looked at, and he is saying Nunes is awake. He knows the deal. He knows what's going on, and he's saying happy Sunday, Q. So I will be looking forward to finding out exactly what is at the timestamp of 12:24 and 12:25, and I wish I had that. I really do, to give to you now and show you, but I just don't. But if I do come across it, I can always, throw it in the next video. But I'll throw it in gently in case it breaks. All right, now let's go up to the next post, and excuse me. The next post is this, and it's a reference to an Anon post, and Q, making reference here to this post by Anon, says, plus a content match Nunes interview. It will become more apparent going forward. Q. Now, this is interesting because, and I'm going to link to a bigger graphic so we can see what this is in a second. He says, plus content match regarding Nunes interview. It will become even more apparent going forward. Q. So let's link to the bigger graphic and see what this is. We've looked at it before, but we're going to look at it again. And I also want to point out to you something here, which which another Anon is going to point out presently in the next post. Notice the number of this post is 30459111. Okay, that will become, important in the next post. But let's, for now, go out and look at this bigger graphic so we can at least see, because this needs some blurry be gone. Excuse me. I need to, before my videos, have a tea. They make this tea and it's called Throat Coat. Yes, Throat Coat. And it's a very good tea. I used to sing professionally, and I used to take that before I sang because it really is amazing stuff. Anyway, I think I'm going to start doing that before the videos so that this doesn't happen. All right. So this is a graphic here. We've got Donald Trump, his tweet saying, "Just watch Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo on Fox News." And of course, it says this show is mandatory watching if you want to understand the massive governmental corruption and the Russian hoax. It will be rebroadcast this evening at 6 p.m. on Fox Business. A must-see. And if you'll look at, maybe this is what he's referring to. Okay, it's making sense to me now. This post was at 12:25 p.m. today, 16th of September. And this, let's make this bigger so we can see this. This was at 12:24:13 p.m. And hang on here. This is the one we've already looked at, which it's the Fox News, Lisa Page testimony, no evidence of collusion prior to Mueller, House of Cards, and it's the congressman attending private dinner with Iranian president. Okay, we've already looked at this, but this was posted at 12:24:13 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And this, of course, was 12:25 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So on the same day, this one was, hang on, now I don't know why my calculator came up there, but it did. This one was Donald Trump's tweet, and this one was Q's drop. So they're almost the identical time. They're being pushed forward and with similar content. So that is what's being pointed out to us. And up here, of course, it says 1 delta. Delta equals 1 equals 0 colon 0 1 equal. We looked at that before. I'm not really sure that I understand completely what that means, 1 being delta, but let's pretend that I do. All right. And underneath here, it says Trump Twitter archive. September 16th, 2018, 11:25:19 a.m. Just watch Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo on Fox News. This show is mandatory watching if you want to understand, blah, blah, blah. And it says 11:25:19 a.m. CDT. What's CDT? Oh, Central Daylight Time, sorry, equals 12:25:19 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So they were put forward at the same time, apparently, showing that, that there is cooperation between Trump and Q. There is communication and cooperation between the two. People say, it's just a conspiracy, it's just a LARP, whatever. But time and time again, we see this. We see a similar post by Q to a Trump tweet. And it happens over and over and over again. Is this coincidence? I don't think so. Maybe once it could be coincidence, but also it's the content matches so perfectly. And they go forward at almost exactly the same time. Now, that's not coincidence, and it's further proof of Q being who he says he is. All right, not that he says he's anyone special, but we know, of course, that he is an insider and that he's doing what he's doing with full with the full cooperation of Trump. Trump is fully briefed and knows exactly who Q is and what he is doing. He being, I know I always say he, but it could be he, she, they. We don't know. We know that there is a team, but I just, to make things easier, I often just say he. All right, so let's go back. And Q is pointing out to us that between the two, between the Trump tweet and the Q post, there's a complete content match regarding the Nunes interview. And he says it will become even more apparent going forward, Q. So we can look out for this to be happening more and more. It has happened a lot in the past, and it has been pointed out as proof of Q, but it's going to happen even more and more going forward because there are so many people coming against Q and trying to convince others that it isn't real. So that makes perfect sense to me. Now, this anon pointing to what the post that we just looked at, and remember I pointed out the number of it. He says this anon is referencing that below this one right here with the number 3045911, and he's saying 911 digits. Q, interesting. So he's saying this to Q. 911 digits, Q, interesting. And then Q responds, for them, Q. Now, I like that because really this person, I think the way they're saying it, it needs a comma after Q. 911 digits, Q, interesting. And Q's saying, for them, Q. Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? You gotta love that. Gotta love it. Now, again, Q is making reference to this, where he's saying, for them, Q. And then he says, buckle up, memes at the ready. Now, let's go take a look at what he wants us to look at. Excuse me. All right. Interesting. Look at this. Facebook's AI can analyze memes, but can it understand them? Billions of text, posts, photos, and videos are uploaded to social media every day, a fire hose of information that's impossible for human moderators to sift through comprehensively. And so companies like Facebook and YouTube have long relied on artificial intelligence to help surface things like spam and pornography. Something like a white supremacist meme, though, can be more challenging for machines to flag since the task requires processing several different visual elements at once. Automated systems need to detect and read the words that are overlaid on top of the photo, as well as analyze the image itself. Memes are also complicated cultural artifacts, which can be difficult to understand out of context. Despite the challenges they bring, some social platforms are already using AI to analyze memes, including Facebook, which this week shared details about how it uses a tool called Rosetta to analyze photos and videos that contain text. Facebook says it already uses Rosetta to help automatically detect content that violates things like its hate speech policy. With help from the tool, Facebook also announced this week that it's expanding its third-party fact-checking effort to include photos and videos, not just text-based articles. Rosetta will aid in the process by automatically checking whether images and videos that contain text were previously flagged as false. Rosetta works by combining optical character recognition, OCR technology, with other machine learning techniques to process text found in photos and videos. First, it uses OCR to identify where the text is located in a meme or video. You've probably used something like OCR before. It's what allows you to quickly scan a paper form and turn it into an editable document. The automated program knows where blocks of text are located and can tell them apart from the place where you're supposed to sign your name. Once Rosetta knows where the words are, Facebook uses a neural network that can transcribe the text and understand its meaning. It then can feed the text through other systems, like one that checks whether the meme is about an already debunked viral hoax. The researchers behind Rosetta say the tool now extracts text from every image uploaded publicly to Facebook in real time, and it can read text in multiple languages, including English, Spanish, German, and Arabic. Facebook says Rosetta is not used to scan images that users share privately on their timelines or in direct messages. Oh no, of course but not. And of course we completely trust Facebook, don't we? We all trust Facebook. Rosetta can analyze images that include text in many forms, such as photos of protest signs, restaurant menus, storefronts, and more. Viswanath Kumar, a software engineer at Facebook who works on Rosetta, said in an email that the tool works well both for identifying text in a landscape, like on a street sign, and also for memes, but that the latter is more challenging. In the context of proactively detecting hate speech and other policy-violating content, meme-style images are the more complex AI challenge, he wrote. Unlike humans, an AI also typically needs to see tens of thousands of examples before it can learn to complete a complicated task. But memes, even for Facebook, are not endlessly available, and gathering enough examples in different languages can also prove difficult. Finding high-quality training data is an ongoing challenge for artificial intelligence research more broadly. Data often needs to be painstakingly hand-labeled, and many databases are protected by copyright laws. Now, I'm not going to go into the rest on how they train Rosetta and so forth, because I think that the important part for us to know is that this is what's being worked on and what is being used. They are trying to analyze memes. So what that means is if you do a meme, as we've seen on the boards, there are tons and tons of memes, and there are a lot of Q-related memes. And let's say that the powers that be decide that Q is just a conspiracy theory and it's harmful to the community, then any meme that is Q-related will be tagged and removed. And this is not good news, because not only will this happen with Q, but with anything else they want to suppress. And we know that memes are one of the most powerful ways to get a message across. Because a picture can say, what, it's like a picture's worth 1,000 words. It's really true. It's really true. And we all, whether you understand the language or not, a lot of times a picture can communicate far more than can be communicated in just language alone. All right, now let's go back and see what Q has to say. So he wanted us to know this, and he also wanted us to go to this link, which is exactly what we're going to do. Facebook will start fact-checking memes. So it's exactly the same story from a different source, this one being MarketWatch. And Facebook said Thursday that it would begin to fact-check photos and videos shared to its platform platforms so far, most of the work done by human fact checkers on Facebook has been geared toward articles, the company said in a release. Facebook announced Thursday that it would use a machine learning model to identify potentially inaccurate photo and video content and then send those items to human fact checkers for review. Many of our third-party fact-checking partners have expertise evaluating photos and videos. Oh, I bet they do. I bet you just hired the best fact-checking people on earth. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking they're probably being paid minimum wage, and they're probably young, and they probably have no expertise evaluating photos and videos. And I also don't believe that they're trained in visual verification techniques such as reverse image searching and analyzing image metadata. Okay, maybe they are. But seriously, I think that they are a bunch of young, techies that are probably very low paid, and they are obviously any human. It becomes subjective. It becomes like, yeah, I think that's offensive. Okay, let's get rid of it. Yeah, that's offensive too. Let's get rid of that. But yeah, well. Let's not get into that. Facebook is looking for content that is manipulated, fabricated, or out of context, among other things. Oh my gosh. God forbid that you should put a picture that's out of context on Facebook. Oh, who are you going to call? The FBI? The DOJ? Oh my gosh. Call up your FBI. I've seen something out of context on Facebook. My God, bring in the National Guard. Seriously, what are these people on? Yes, Facebook's looking for content that is out of context. My. All right. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight knowing that there may be things on Facebook that are out of context. Are you going to be able to sleep? I hope you guys are going to be all right. I wouldn't have shared it if I knew it was going to upset you this much. Anyway, shares are little changed in Thursday trading, and they're down 6.5% over the past 12 months. Well, let's get them down a little bit more. I'm sorry, if you've got shares in Facebook, I would suggest dumping them, because I'm pretty sure that when all this comes out, yeah, people are going to be a little upset. I'm upset. And actually, I do check stocks and so forth, but I had no Facebook stocks, but I knew, and I kept telling people that the Facebook stocks were going to fall, and people would say, you're being silly, whatever. But I'm telling you, these guys, sooner or later, are going to be called out on all this crap. Because I think people have had it. I very rarely go over to Facebook, and, I don't know. I need to get my stuff off of Facebook, and I need to get it on another platform, because I do have Deception Bytes over there on Facebook, and I get so discouraged every time I go onto Facebook that I don't spend as much time updating as I should. So perhaps I should just seek out another platform. If you know another platform that, does what Facebook does, let me know. I know that there are others out there, but if you guys have checked them out, let me know in the comments below. Let me know where you think I should move that to keep everyone updated, because I do want to keep everyone updated. I just don't like Facebook. I actually feel like even saying Facebook, it feels like a very dirty word in my mouth. It feels like I want to go and wash my mouth out with soap. And maybe I will. I don't know. Anyway, let's go on. And I know you probably think, oh, you're overreacting. No, I assure you I'm not. I think I'm underreacting. And I think that the world has become so numb to this stuff that they've just stopped reacting, because they think, well, what are we going to do? We can't do anything about it. Oh, yeah, we can, because you know what? There's more of us than there are of them. And you know what? You know why they're in business? It's because of you and me. If we weren't on there, you and me, that's right. I know you're saying, well, what difference does it make? You and me, that's two people. What difference does it make? It makes a big difference, because you know what? The more people that wake up and get off of these platforms that are making money for people that are trying to destroy us, you know what? They're living the good life. Let me assure you, they're living the good life. They don't care. But when you start hitting their pocketbook, then they'll realize, you know what? You pushed a little bit too hard. So there you go. And underneath, Q has said, do you believe in coincidences? The coincidence, of course, being the fact that there are two different media places reporting the exact same thing, and these are not fly by night. It's Wired.com and MarketWatch that are reporting the exact thing, that Facebook is now fact-checking memes and looking for content that's, oh my gosh, out of context. I really think that they should maybe they need to hire the CIA or something to find these people that have placed these things there out of context, and maybe just, put them in jail or something. My gosh, I don't know. I hope I've never put something on there that's, like out of context. Oh my gosh, I hope not. Do you believe in coincidences? The fight is real. The time is now. Q. Alrighty. I agree. I could not agree more. Now, let's go up to the next one. And this is a link to a Twitter, of course. And below, I have clipped just the picture of the tweet out so that it saves us a little bit of time. And it's by John Solomon at J. Solomon Reports. And it says, Lisa Page bombshell. FBI couldn't find proof of Trump-Russia collusion before Mueller named. And this is an article on The Hill, which says basically the same thing that we read in the previous article that said the same thing, basically. That to date, Lisa Page's infamy has been driven mostly by the anti-Donald Trump text messages she exchanged with fellow FBI agent Peter Strzok as the two engaged in an affair while investigating. And then it goes on. I'm going to just, I put a link to the article itself here so that we could look. I'm not going to read it all, but I do want to show you because Q has put this article for us to look at. And actually, I think I'm going to just
interviewed Lisa Page. And this was, I know, of Jordan, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell me a bit about when you interviewed Lisa Page, and this was, I know, a few weeks back, what did she say about the state of the evidence in the Russia-Trump collusion case at the time the special prosecutor was appointed?
Yeah. Well, we'd have to go back and look, and we're reviewing the transcript, but she seemed to indicate that, without direct quote her, she seemed to indicate that all the way up until the time Mueller was named, until the special counsel, we're talking May of 2017, there was still no real evidence of any type of coordination, any type of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia to impact the election, which frankly at this point shouldn't surprise us much because everything we've heard from the Mueller investigation to date, no evidence of any coordination, collusion, conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia to impact the election. So we just found it was one of those moments, if I'm remembering this correctly, she said something, then she sort of caught herself and sort of trailed off. But it was like we were asking a series of questions, and it's like even up until the time the Mueller investigation, there was no real evidence. That's how it was going. And so I want to go back, haven't had a chance to go back and look at the transcript, but from our notes, it was something to that effect, and we thought that was pretty telling.
And so that would be consistent with the now pretty well-known text message between Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, where it was said that there was no there about the investigation.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, and the more you dig in here, you see that it looks like the crushing power of the state was used initially to take this dossier, dress it all up, take it to the secret court to get a warrant to spy on the other party's campaign. The dossier that was paid for and produced by the Clinton campaign to go after the other campaign. And the idea that the state, the FBI, would use that to start this whole investigation is as wrong as it gets.
Yes, I would agree with that. It's as wrong as it gets, and that was a good little soundbite there. All right, let's go back, and we have linked to the article and what is under. Okay, did I miss this? Oh, no. Okay, yeah, we looked at this one. Buckle up, memes at the ready. All right, and that I do believe, oh no, it's not. I thought that was maybe the last one, but it's not, but we are almost there. Now here is the next one, and it's making reference here. Q is referring to an earlier post by his from September 10th, 2018, and it's where he said, prepare your memes. Non-NSA technology today cannot read filter. Q. All right, now this is interesting. It says, attempts to Snowden 2 NSA failed. They are scrambling. Compare dates of articles to drop. Q. Now, let's, I'm not exactly, okay, he's making reference to attempts to Snowden 2, NSA failed. They are scrambling. Compare dates of article to drop. I am not exactly sure. Let me go up here. What he is discussing here. I don't know. You know something? This is a little perplexing to me. Let me go to the real Q1, the real Q, and look at it here. See if I can figure out. I thought I had attempts to Snowden 2. Okay, now I know what he means by attempts to Snowden 2 failed. Now let me go back here for a second. I'm going to go to here because I'm going to show you what he means by this. We've gone through this before, but I want to just, anybody new or anybody that's forgotten, there was what they called a second Snowden, and he was arrested over NSA secrets. A national security agency contractor has been arrested on charges that he illegally removed highly classified information. His arrest corresponds to the biggest leak of hacking tools since whistleblower Edward Snowden. Okay, so that's what that's referring to when he says attempts to Snowden 2 failed. Now, let me go to the real Q here, and we're looking at this article, and it says, because I want to see, let me go out here, go to the actual board where it appeared on 8chan. All right, and he says he's making reference to his earlier article, and who is he referring to here? Just 1 second. This is slow, this site, because there's so much information on it. Okay, he is referring to the buckle up memes at the ready, and he's alluding to the two that we just looked at, the Wired.com and the MarketWatch story, where they said that they were now employing these this technology called Rosetta to look at the memes. And he said, do you believe in coincidences? The fight is real, because he's been telling people to prepare your memes, and he's been saying non-NSA technology today cannot read or filter memes, but now we've got 2 news articles coming out saying that they can. So which is it? I don't know. But they're saying attempts to Snowden 2 NSA failed. They are scrambling compared dates of articles to drop. So this was 9/10. Now, when these articles, let's go out here and look at, if you're not used to navigating these boards, you may not understand what I'm doing here, but I'm just connecting what Q is telling us to connect here. And see, here is the Wired.com story, and this is what he wants us to look at. That story came out 9/13. Let's go back and look at the other story when it came out, because these stories about them being able to read memes came out around the exact same time. They came out actually 3 days after Q posted this about prepare your memes. And he's telling us non-NSA technology today cannot read or filter memes. However, they come out with 2, MarketWatch and Wired, 2 different news places saying that they're now able to look at these memes. Now, where is that with the links? Let me go down here. Okay, so this one came out on 9/13, and let's look at when this one came out. The Wired.com. Okay. It came out 9/14. Okay, now I understand. I had a little bit of a brain fade or something trying to figure out that drop, but I didn't want to leave until I had it conquered. So I think I understand it completely what Q is telling us now. He's saying that right there on 9/10, he's telling us to prepare our memes because the non-NSA technology today that employed by those that are not NSA, that are not privy to NSA's technology, like Facebook and like other platforms, they cannot read and filter memes. That's what Q is telling us, and I believe him. But that article, one came out on the 13th, 3 days later, and the other article came out 4 days later. So saying, oh yeah, we now have the technology to read these memes. But beneath here, Q is connecting that all to Snowden. He's saying attempts to Snowden 2 NSA failed. So they don't have the technology. That's what he's saying. They don't have the technology, okay? Like, because they attempted to get it, using Snowden 2, but it failed. And so he says they are scrambling, and compare the dates of the articles to drop. Yeah, this is 9/10, then 9/13. One of them comes out, MarketWatch, and then Wired.com comes out on the 14th. Yeah, no coincidence there. So I guess I got all upset about them reading memes on Facebook for nothing, because they really do not have the technology, according to Q. But the fact that they even want to have the technology to do that bothers me. So anyway, there you have it. And here is the last post for September 16th, unless Q has been posting more since I've been talking, and let me go check and see if he has. So we'll know for sure. And I don't believe so. I think that we are completely up to date now. As of 10:50 p.m. Eastern Time, we are up to date with Q. So let's look at the last of the drop. Q is letting us know here, test Thursday by Department of Defense to confirm free flow of direct communications. POTUS special authorization is required. Think the football. NSA monitoring for any attempts to disrupt and or terminate access. Central Command, Q. So that test Thursday that will go out to everybody's smartphones, it is a presidential alert. And, the one where they were kind of making, saying to Trump, like, oh, I don't know, I don't even know if Trump is aware of this test that they're doing, like he's some sort of, village idiot. Of course he's aware of it. It's called a presidential alert. Oh, the news is so stupid. But anyway, so he's telling us what it is for. It's a test Thursday to confirm the free flow of direct communications. Now, why might he need that? Well, any number of reasons. To bypass the media in the event of a terrorist attack, where he might need to let everyone in the country know immediately. There's a lot of reasons, and it does need to be tested because he needs to make sure that there's a free flow of direct communications. There is special authorization required by the President of the United States, so it's not just like anybody can use this. And the NSA is monitoring for any attempts to disrupt and or terminate that access that the president has to every citizen of the United States instantaneously. I think that's a good thing to have. There are occasions that could arise, may arise, where he does need to do that, and I think it is a good thing. So he said Central Command, Q. So that is it for today, the 16th. For the Q post, we are completely up to date. I may do a Q-related news tonight, or I may wait till tomorrow. If there are Q posts tomorrow, I will certainly bring you those. And if there are no Q posts, then look for the Q-related news. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, that you rest well, that you stay well, and that you, most of all, stay safe. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you all. Make sure that if you want to be subscribed, that you stay subscribed. They do seem to drop subscribers whenever they think that the subscribers are getting too high. So make sure that if you want to be subscribed, that you are still subscribed, and make sure to hit the bell to be notified of any new videos. Thanks so much. I appreciate you guys more than you know, and I will talk to you soon.